I am just done with Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Goodbye.
So recently, more news about Spider-Man Brand New Day has come out, and I think a lot of the backlash towards it is overblown. A specific focus I've seen is on the idea that Peter has an assistant AI in the movie, and some people seem to think that this means Peter is being turned into Iron Man again.
What? What are you talking about?
As someone who is heavily critical of the MCU Spider-Man movies,
Don't even get me started on Doctor Strange and a little nerd back on Earth 1999.
this is really a nothing burger complaint. I think pointing out that Spider-Man has access to advanced technology isn't a very substantive or compelling criticism. What I think matters more is the execution of these ideas. In Homecoming, I don't have an issue with the idea that Peter has a high-tech suit to help him in his superhero work. It makes sense for Tony to trust Peter with it, and it makes sense that Peter would want to use it to be better at his job, even to a flawed degree where he makes mistakes while taking on too much. What I do see an issue with is that in Far From Home, Tony planned to give an army of killer drones to Peter when he's 16 years old, without even giving a clear tutorial, training wheels protocol, or any basic safeguards to prevent Peter from misusing it, instead of giving the glasses to someone more responsible like Pepper, Rhodey, or Happy. That's a case where I think the high-tech aspects of Spider-Man are being executed poorly and can be taken too far. However, nothing we've seen so far with Spider-Man Brand New Day even remotely implies that the usage of technology will result in story issues. It's a relatively light usage of technology at best, which I'll get into in a moment, but it seems like no matter what nuance you try to provide, some people just get really angry for the sake of being angry. Let me tell you something, Red. I don't give a shit. Doesn't mean I want Spider-Man to have it. I'm fucking sick of Spider-Man having all this stupid-ass modern technology. We already did this shit in Homecoming and Far From Home. I don't care if he makes it himself or not. This is why the MCU Spider-Man movies are so forgettable and mediocre. They can't let him be the real Spider-Man. He always has to have some stupid AI or high-tech suit. You hear me, Red?
You're unhinged, Frank. You are.
Now I want to address this point in more detail by responding to parts of Jester Bell's video on why she's done with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I think a video is generally more elaborate than a tweet, so that would be the most reasonable way to address Jester Bell's point. Now in fairness to the video, I don't think every point made is unreasonable, so I'll be skipping a lot of it for that reason, even if I think the title is a bit dramatic, but there are points made that don't really hold up when you give them a closer look, which this video aims to highlight, starting with this point that I've commonly seen as well.
They still haven't really given up the Iron Boy Jr. aspect of the character. They didn't No Way Home, but today I just saw distant Daniel Craig admit that Peter Parker is going to have a new AI that he's going to talk to in this movie. And he said in his notes, it's no Tony Stark technology, it's made by Peter Parker.
Then how is it still like Tony Stark? An assistive AI isn't exclusive to Tony Stark, especially given how times have changed. In present day, we have access to assistive AIs on our phones. This is just 2026, and Brand New Day apparently takes place in 2028, and the technology in the MCU is meant to be more advanced than ours. So as the technology advances and grows more accessible, it becomes less and less like Tony Stark to have access to assistive AI. That doesn't mean he's Iron Man Jr. or anything, that just means Peter is using his smarts to aid his work as Spider-Man. Now I know some people are going to say that Tobey and Andrew didn't have an AI of their own, but you have to remember that those movies are from many years ago. The times were different, so of course they're not gonna have an AI. It's a similar reason why you'd see Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man with a cell phone, while obviously you wouldn't have seen this in the 60s comics. The growing use of technology in modern Spider-Man is simply a product of the time they're releasing, not a detachment from the core of Spider-Man.
To me, it's still like Tony Stark. It's still like him talking to Jarvis. I don't know why Spider-Man needs some AI tech for him to talk to.
So when you open up Siri and ask for directions to the nearest Best Buy, does that make you Tony Stark? No, it doesn't, because this is highly accessible technology. The point of Tony Stark's technology is that it's not highly accessible due to how expensive and advanced it is. Times are changing with the progression of AI, which would lead to more knowledge and accessibility, and Peter knows how to be resourceful with present-day technology.
Retro tech, huh? Thrift store? Salvation Army?
The garbage act.
You're a dumpster diver.
Yeah, I was...
As for the question as to why Peter needs the technology, it's less so that he needs it, but rather that it helps. Voice-activated commands are inherently more beneficial because they're more efficient than how computers typically receive commands, which especially helps if Peter needs to gather information in the heat of battle. If the AI is designed to talk like a person, then communication becomes more efficient.
You know what? If you want to have a plot device so that Peter Parker, as he's alone, has someone to talk to, just give him an internal monologue like he had in the very first Spider-Man movie, or like he has in the comics. You don't need to create an AI for him to chat with, just like Tony Stark.
I don't see why it has to be an internal monologue. There's more than one way to convey an idea to the audience. In this case, I imagine that this is their way of showing how alone Peter is and how he may try to cope with that. That's not inherently a bad direction to take. It all comes down to execution.
It's this weird thing where there's still that sort of leftover from their initial idea. It seems like Marvel is trying to find some way that they can still hold on to Robert Downey Jr.'s success as Iron Man.
But as you've read out, it's already detached from the previous uses of Stark tech. It's Peter's design. It has nothing to do with Iron Man. That's literally what the script itself highlights.
Did you read it?
So that covers what I wanted to address regarding the backlash I've seen towards the movie. Now, I'm not saying that the movie will definitely do this well and that you have to believe it will, but rather I'm saying that lots of people are jumping the gun based on extremely limited information. That's all I've got to say for now. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe if you enjoyed these videos. I'll see you all later. Goodbye.